blood in the smoke!
OP1, Bay Area around here.
Eyes on me. Prepare for breakout. Yes, sir. On my count. 1, 2, 3.
Good evening, everyone. Jay Saki here. I hope you've all been well. I saw Warfare. Maybe you saw some trailers for it. I know I did, and I was very curious. War is my favorite film genre. Granted, not all war films are good, but if it's a war film, I'll have an interest in giving it a chance. This movie was directed by Alex Garland, who's known for that Civil War movie from last year, and Ray Mendoza, who's a former Navy SEAL who worked as the military consultant for that movie. The goal of Warfare was to recreate a moment in a battle that went down while Ray Mendoza was fighting insurgents in Iraq in 2006. Going by his memory and the memories of his fellow SEALs who fought in the same battle and who also helped make the movie. The goal of the film was to make the ultimate visceral and shocking war story that really puts you in the moment, to give the audience that minute-by-minute experience of what it's like to be in a battle like this. So this movie is produced by the production company A24. If I was to be charitable, I would say A24 is known for making art house horror films. If I was to be less charitable, I would say they are known for making art house porn films. All their movies are very enticing and well made until they have some shocking moment that makes your eyes bleed and makes them non-suitable for viewing consumption. If I ever see an A24 film that doesn't have a graphic masturbation scene or a scene of graphic child murder, then I'll be shocked. Basically, if it's A24, then walk the opposite direction, no matter how neat the trailer might be. So I had my guard up going into this movie. Yeah, it's A24, but it is a war film, so I had to give it a chance. As a content warning, the shocking A24 moment in this movie is at the opening, where it starts with all the SEALs sitting in a room rocking out to what I perceive to be a soft porn of women doing a workout all while wearing thongs. I saw another reviewer mention it's a music video. Whatever it was, it lingers on the scene for an uncomfortable amount of time. Enough time to say, yes, A24, you got your shocking, off-putting moment in. That being said, it's considerably tame by A24 standards. Okay, so there's a gross scene you can fast forward, but forgive and forget and move on. What about the rest of the movie? In short, I was overall disappointed. The experience I got was very similar to what I got out of Dunkirk from 2017. Now, pardon me, audience, while I go off track to explain my opinions on Dunkirk. So Dunkirk was a movie that had the goal of presenting for you the Battle of Dunkirk in an up-close, nail-biting way. When I first saw Dunkirk, I remember thinking I liked it, but when it was over, I felt something was missing from it to make me love it. The more time went on, the more I didn't feel a strong need to ever return to Dunkirk, and the more my opinion of the movie went down in my mind, in spite of the many great qualities that film might have had. Dunkirk emphasized the harrowing experience of the battle itself, rather than the character exploration of the soldiers. The point was to make you latch onto the people in the conflict by virtue of our shared human experience of merely not wanting to die. I remember seeing a review for Dunkirk back in the day where someone defended the lack of personal character exploration by saying it doesn't have cliche scenes of soldiers talking about their loved ones back home or usual soldier jargon because we have seen that before. This movie just gets right to the point. I kind of agreed with that sentiment at the time, but looking back I feel like maybe Dunkirk could have used some cliche soldier talk if just to give characters more character. So with Warfare, I was looking at other people's reviews, and I saw multiple reviewers make near identical excuses about not having the soldiers talk about themselves or their lives back home or their view on the war. It just puts you right in the action, and that is allegedly the film's strength, because the point is to make you empathize with a bunch of guys by virtue of you just being human. And I see what they're trying to say because I have a lot of thoughts on what makes interesting characters. I often think less is more when it comes to making a character likable, and maybe I'll make a video exploring that someday. But whatever Warfare was or was not doing was too much in one direction, and it crippled the overall film experience for me. I walked out of the movie in spite of everything, feeling like I had a lacking experience that makes me not need to see the film ever again. But Jay Saki! Virtually all the other reviewers love this movie. Critics are praising the cinematography, the visual effects, the writing, the directing, the acting, all of which work together to give the audience the most immersive war experience ever put to screen. Do you disagree with any of that? I do not disagree. All of that is very true. And if I was judging it by that criteria alone, I'd say this film was reaching divine perfection. But I still don't like it. I was disappointed and left feeling this film had to give me more. But the question is, do I blame myself for being a fallible human being, or do I blame the movie? I blame the movie. Okay, Jay Saki, you smug jerk. You had better have a good explanation for all this. My explanation for my dislike is as follows. I think there's a tendency for some critics to review movies much like how someone might review home appliances. You get a new refrigerator, then you might examine each part, and give the parts points out of 10 on how much storage it has, the quality of the ice cube dispenser, and how well it preserves your food. And even though I will consider different elements when reviewing a movie, I think you ultimately can't always judge art that way. It's like if someone were to judge a Da Vinci painting by the quality of the frame, how expensive the paints were, and how durable the canvas is, rather than what's actually being said with all those components, rather than judging the heart and soul of the painting. Is the art becoming greater than the sum of all its parts? And for me, Warfare did not become greater than the sum of all its parts. Devoid of the writing quality, the effects, and the directing, the movie was just about a bunch of SEALs stuck in a house getting shot at until they get evacuated. Just like how Dunkirk is about a lot of soldiers getting shot at until they get evacuated. And in the case of both movies, the amount of military heroism on display is a little bit minimal, and not enough for me to feel overly inspired. I very recently had someone show me some My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
I used to wonder what friendship could be, until you all shared its magic with me.
I was aware it was a cultural phenomenon that was a big hit with kids as well as adults. I've known married family men who enjoy watching it with their kids, and I'm not beyond giving My Little Pony a fair shot to impress me. So I sat down and watched some episodes and got educated. In the one episode, the ponies were throwing a party for Rainbow Dash, and Pinkie Pie was the party planning pony. And then this guy pony named Cheese Sandwich shows up, and he's famous for being a great party planning pony also. And he takes over as the party planner, and Pinkie Pie is feeling left out and dejected that she can't plan her friend's party. And then the characters start to compete on who would be the better party planning pony, and they have to find a resolution that makes everyone happy. And I was very concerned and invested, to say the least, and I felt satisfaction with the episode when it was over. I can't say that about Warfare, though. Jay Saki, you monster, I hear you say. This was a true story about soldiers putting their lives on the line. How dare you say what you just said? I'm not going to lie about my opinion. The Clint Eastwood movie 1517 to Paris got panned by critics in spite of it being a true story about American soldiers putting their lives on the line, because it honestly overall wasn't very good. Okay, Jay Saki, but you have no right to compare Warfare with My Little Pony. Well, I just did. But here is a fun idea. You audience don't have to agree with me. And this is a great time for you to do some brain work and decide if my review is fair, and if it's fair comparing Warfare with My Little Pony. Sometimes listening to me isn't about listening for how we agree, but how we might disagree. So what did you learn from your experience, Jay Saki? Honestly, I'm just a bit tired. I think I learned movies can make me tired sometimes. I don't know if I learned anything. But the bigger question is, what did you learn, audience? Did you learn anything from this review? Art has to effectively teach you something, and movie reviews have to teach you something as well. I hope my review is better than the movie itself. That is all. That is all I have. Have a good night, everyone.